this Q&A session will be a bit different. I often get asked how much money I make on YouTube, and many people assume that this is my main source of income. So I'm going to show you behind the scenes exactly how much I earn, and also how I became monetized on YouTube, because that's a thing in case you don't know. And I'll give you some more background on the business strategy behind it, also where my main source of revenue actually comes from. I usually talk about money, investing and building wealth, and I love sharing behind the scenes info. So if you're interested to see more of that, you can join my insider newsletter, which I send out weekly, and we've already got 12,000 subscribers on there. But let's get into the juicy details. I started my YouTube channel more than a year ago in April 2024, and I got monetized by July 2024. That really means you reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, and then YouTube starts paying you depending on the ads that they can show on your videos. Up to this point, I have had more than 500,000 lifetime views on my channel, on my long form videos. I also upload shorts on my YouTube, but it's mainly for my long form videos. And if we look at the type of videos that I put out, I think it's quite interesting, because I got monetized when one of my videos went viral. It was about, I would say, the 10th video that I made. And if you can have a look here where it shows you, I have made a buy or rent video. And I think what was interesting about this is that questioned conventional thinking, and it went quite viral. So it has now 115,000 views. And that also actually took me over the watch time threshold eventually, but it took some time. And you'll see here that there was a big spike in July 2024, and this is actually when I got monetized, when this video, exactly due to that video. And then there were a few more videos that I made subsequently that also increased my views, but that was a big one that actually a lot of people still would stop me when they see me and ask me about that video and tell me that they, watched it. And so it's quite interesting how one video can change a lot of things. And so if you are on this journey, you just need to continue trying and think about what people would find interesting to watch. And so that one is by far the most popular, and then the second most popular, it's all investment videos that have done quite well. You can also see here the estimated revenue per video. So super viral, I mean that's super viral for me, but some people have millions of views. Video made $150, and then the next second most popular one is $123. So this is actually what I got paid for these viral-ish videos, and that is not a lot of money. If you look at my overall revenue, you'll see here that I've made total estimated revenue of $1,161 since becoming monetized on the channel on YouTube. So you'll see here that it started in July 2018, and this is basically how much it's made since. So the RPM, if you are interested in that, and the CPM, it's on average 1.67 RPM and $6.1 of CPM. And this metric is dependent on where your audience watches from, and also the topic that you're covering, because that kind of feeds into the advertisements that they could put on your channel YouTube, and what kind of ads they can show. So money or investing related ads, they could obviously make more money from than consumer products, for example. So to put that into perspective, I've made just over $1,100 on YouTube since I started it. And that means on long form videos, on an average of $24 per video. And that doesn't even cover 20% of the cost of my editor that helps me to edit these videos. So it's not a money-making business. Actually, it's a loss-making business if you consider all of the costs in producing these videos and how much I actually get paid by YouTube. I also actually tried monetizing on YouTube through paid memberships, and it did quite well. It paid more than the AdSense paid me. But I ended that because I launched a different side of my business, and there was some confusion, or it would have created some confusion between customers paying for YouTube premium content, but also then for people subscribing to my courses. But I'll get into more detail on that. I think one thing to explain when it comes to YouTube monetization or influencers or creators online is there are two main types of business models. So on the one side, you'll see influencers that create content and mainly get monetized through sponsorships or showing ads on their channels and for paid that they get paid for. And there is another side or a different business model which is the business model I'm following. I don't take on any paid campaigns or sponsorship. So anything that I show on my channel or that I've never accepted a payment for showing anything on my channel, although I get many requests from people to do that. Of course, you can imagine is that I think my audience is quite a valuable audience because a lot of people would like to have their products showing to my audience. But for me, trust is very important, but also not linking myself to any brands or to any products. So I would like to remain completely independent. And for this reason, I chose to monetize my audience because, of course, running this operation costs me a lot of money. I actually employ a team of 4 people by now, and I monetize my channel and my audience through educational courses. And I've honestly been super surprised by how well that's done and also how much I enjoy it and how much value people get from it. Because investing can be such an overwhelming topic. So the first course that I've done is an investing course that I'm still doing, and that basically takes people through a journey of understanding stock markets, how to buy ETFs, how to build your portfolio, and how to balance your portfolio over time. I think in this way, I'm able to monetize my channel, to continue putting very high value content out there because I have a way of getting paid, but also to give people more information and more help, because I realized with time that's what they need. By the way, when I started YouTube, I had no idea how I would monetize. So this wasn't like all a big plan or a big scheme, not at all. I started on Instagram, then I eventually moved over to YouTube because, not moved over, I still do Instagram. You can also follow me there, Money with Carla. I started doing longer form content on YouTube because I really just saw on someone else's channel that she mentioned YouTube is better for her because she can do longer form content, and also the content is more evergreen. On Instagram, your content, you continuously have to stay up to date with trends and publish very consistently. It's also very clickbaity, as in you've got less than a minute to get someone's attention. Actually, you've got 3 seconds to get someone's attention, and if you don't, they easily move on. And you're competing with so many different kinds of videos that's really just attention seeking or attention grabbing videos. So you can have sports, if it's a guy, for example, that loves, like my husband's phone is full of golf videos, and then one of my videos would come up, I force him to watch my videos. I always tell him, if something of mine comes up, you have to watch it because you have to let the algorithm know that it's a cool video, otherwise it's not going to show it to other people. But mostly guys are going to be in the mindset of watching sports videos, and then an investing video comes up on Instagram, they're going to be like, oh no, this is not interesting, just go past. And because the sports videos are so like attention grabbing, and investing is not always the most interesting topic, although I try. Where on YouTube, someone is quite intentional about their search or experience on YouTube. So you would go onto YouTube and look for something, how do I invest, or how to get started, or how do ETFs work, and then potentially you would see some of my content. When you start going down and watch more of my content, YouTube would recommend more of it to you, and you would easily spend more than 30 minutes or an hour watching my videos. Where on Instagram, that would rarely happen because there is so much competition with short form videos. This is why I decided to go onto YouTube. It's a very long story now to just get to that point. And I started making YouTube videos in April. You should go look at the first ones. They're actually embarrassingly bad. I then thought that I would make money from YouTube, to be honest. I watched videos from people and they would make up to $10,000 per month. And I thought that's okay, but that sounds interesting. Let me try. So I'm obviously like not even nearly close to that. And I gave up quite a high paying investment job to do this. So I had to seriously start making a plan on how I can make a living off of this. So this is how I eventually ended up with, I asked people what would they like and what would they like to learn, and not everyone, 90% of people said they wanted to learn more about investing. So that's why I decided to develop the course. And I'm so glad I did, because that means I never became desperate to take anyone's brand affiliation sponsorships. Yes, I actually feel really proud about that. And I think that is especially valuable in financial services industry because unfortunately you would know that I'm all about low fee products, about keeping your fees low. And as soon as you move towards high fee products, there's much more money to put towards campaigns and sponsorships and ads. And those kind of brands also tend to put a lot of sponsorships out there, which I obviously don't want to take on, because if I don't believe in a brand and they're charging high fees, then I definitely don't want to promote them just because I'm getting paid for it. And yeah, okay, I think that gives you some more background on my thinking there. So something else you also might find interesting is where I'm building an audience and how I'm doing that across different platforms to diversify, and also how I eventually moved my potential customers towards paying customers. So the first thing is I first started on Instagram, then I went onto YouTube. I also launched a newsletter or a blog, and the reason for that was I wanted to do more long form content. So I would usually write a blog and make a YouTube video about that. So that was my long form content, and then I would break that into shorter form videos for Instagram. But then I also became aware of how important it is to have a newsletter so that you can actually reach someone directly in their email box, because my audience is a little bit older than the typical Instagram or YouTube audience. The average age of people that buy my products is 39 years old. So they potentially would not go on social media as regularly as others would, and also they've got a lot of things going on. When I have something available that's available for them to buy, then I would want to reach them in their email box or in their mailbox to let them know, but also to share other valuable content pieces with them, which I now do my Friday weekly insider letter, where I share some behind the scenes and insider information just in a very short and sweet email, and then give some updates on new podcasts that are out, etc. So that's a way to connect with the audience directly, instead of me hoping that you're going to go on YouTube and see one of my videos, or just hoping the algorithm on Instagram is going to show it to you. Having you register your email or share your email and sign up to my newsletter is a way for me to directly be able to reach you, which is, I think, very important if you are like me, making a business, a creator business and selling products or online products. And that's probably one of the most valuable things that I've learned with time. Yeah, so at this moment, I'm trying to, of course, continue to build my newsletter base. And the only way that you can do that is definitely not by spamming people. That would be by sharing valuable information that actually wants them to, motivates them to sign up. So the one thing that we're starting to do now is to give subscribers to my insider letter early access to my YouTube videos. So that would mean if you are subscribed to the letter, which you can in the caption, you would get an early preview a few days before the video is released on YouTube. Okay, so I think that's some more interesting behind the scenes info. And I think something else that I've learned is it's so important to remain consistent, because if you want someone to trust you or to trust your products, in my case an investing course, then they need to understand that your messaging is consistent, that you're showing up consistently, and that your product is trustworthy. So you're not constantly changing or doing it and then not doing it, because I've noticed many people would show some interest or have shown interest since I started the course, and then it took them 9 months to eventually buy. And over 9 months, I've obviously continued to engage with my content. They would see, feedback from other people that did the course, and eventually decide to sign up to it. That's something that is also very important. So you shouldn't expect to put one video out there and then sell a course to share more information with people, or to transform or take them through a transformation journey in your course, and then they're going to buy it. That's not going to. You need to be very consistent, and also, yes, as I mentioned, build trust. That really just happens over time. So it's really weird how this business and building trust is very much in a way similar to building an investment portfolio, because there is also a lot of compounding that takes place in this creator business, because I would put out a video now that you might like, and then that would take you back to more of my other videos that are already there. So as a new viewer, I would almost get more watch time from you, because I already have so much content that I put on that you can now engage with and understand me better, understand what I'm about, and perhaps build credibility with you. It's really about remaining consistent. And there are actually 3 other interesting things that came from making content online. And I mean, I really want to encourage you, if this is something that you're thinking of, you have to take the jump, because it's going to expand your comfort zone or your horizons. It will make it your life. It will honestly make you think about things differently. It will give you, over time, a lot of confidence. At the start, it's definitely very cringe. And the first thing is that you would start getting feedback from people, what they would like to see. You would also start seeing what works in videos. Your first video is not going to be good. Like, with time, I've upgraded my camera and my lights and my mic, but it took a lot of time to get to a point where it looks way more professional now. But you don't have to start with all of this. You can literally just start with your phone. I recorded everything on my iPhone at the start. I had a ring light that I just ordered online with a mirror behind my phone to just help me see what the image is. But once I started doing this, I started getting you will get requests and inquiries that you would never imagine. So, for example, I got approached for a book deal. So that's something that I'm working on now. I got so many people asking for financial advice, which I'm obviously not allowed to give. I'm just sharing educational and informational content, that my husband has applied for a financial advisory license, which he has gotten. And that's really great news, because now we can actually take this a step further and help more people if they choose not to be DIY investors and they actually want advice. And then the third thing that's interesting is our next step would be to build a club around this. And the reason why I think that is the next step for us is because a lot of people become DIY investors, which I'm all about promoting on my channel and teaching you how, but they still feel like they need some form of support as they go on. Like, for example, if something happens in the stock market, or they hear some people saying, oh, the dollar is going to lose value in the future, or everyone's buying Bitcoin, or whatever it may be, they want some form of support, or someone that they can, in a group setting with like-minded people, engage and ask questions and get expert input. So this is the next step for us, is to provide that level of engagement or community for people, so that they have some level of support as DIY investors, and they can continue learning and have a safe space where they can trust the information that's being given to them. Yeah, so I hope that one makes sense. So that would be the next step for us in the next few months. I think that it's just scary how fast these things develop and how fast it's growing, and sometimes it's really overwhelming for me, I have to be honest. I think something about creating about a creator business, it is all consuming, especially if you're the face behind the brand, as I am in this case, is that so many people, because they watch all my videos online, they want to talk to me. It's very hard to hand over that responsibility to someone else. So if I'm sick, or my son scratched me in the face this morning, for example, and I was like, oh my word, I need to shoot YouTube videos today. Now I'm going to look like this. Like, it's so dependent on how I'm feeling, where I am. Can I travel? Can I take a break? Because all of the content is reliant on me. So I think my next step would be, personally, for me to cope with this better, is to get to go to a format of creating content where it's not all reliant on me. I'm still figuring that one out, by the way, but I thought that would be just interesting to share. Okay, so anyway, now I shared way more than I thought I would, or more than I planned to. But I hope that was interesting to you. If you're thinking of starting a channel, or if you've been a follower of my channel since the start, I would love to hear what you thought, and if you enjoyed this video, and if you would like some more behind the scenes videos. But also, I have my weekly insider letter where I share more behind the scenes info. And if you'd like to subscribe to that, you can follow the link in my caption. See you next time.